Dr. Na Yun walked into her lab on the big spaceship called Harmony's Edge. She had been working there for 5 years, studying how different alien species behaved. Today felt like any other day, but she had no idea that everything was about to change. The lab was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. 3 large glass rooms sat in front of her desk. Inside each room was a different type of alien. All of them were known as the most dangerous hunters in the galaxy. In the first room was a Verkari. It looked like a giant spider with 6 bright yellow eyes and sharp claws that could cut through metal. The Verkari were famous for hunting other smart species just for fun. They enjoyed making their victims scared before they killed them. The second room held a Zelthian warrior. It stood 8 feet tall with blue skin and 4 arms. Each arm was covered in muscles that could crush a car. The Zelthians had been fighting wars for over 1,000,000 years and had never lost a single battle until recently. The third room contained something even more frightening, a Mortak raider. It looked like a cross between a shark and a praying mantis, with teeth that never stopped growing. The Mortak were space pirates who attacked ships and planets for no reason other than they liked causing pain. Dr. Na sat down at her computer and started her daily work. She was testing how well these aliens could understand basic words in Galactic Standard, the language most species used to talk to each other. "Computer, start recording," she said out loud. "Today I will test word recognition with subjects A, B, and C." She looked at her list of words. They were simple things like colors, numbers, and everyday objects. She had done this test hundreds of times with many different species. Beginning word sequence, Dr. Na announced clearly so the computer could record her voice. Red, blue, water, food. The 3 aliens in their glass rooms barely moved. This was normal. Most species showed very little reaction to random words. Ship, planet, star, technology. Still nothing unusual. The Verkari cleaned one of its claws. The Zelthian warrior sat perfectly still like a statue. The Mortak raider paced back and forth in its room, but that was normal behavior for them. Dr. Na continued down her list. Gravity, oxygen, marines. What happened next made Dr. Na drop her tablet on the floor. The moment she said the word marines, all 3 aliens went crazy with fear. The Verkari's 6 eyes went wide and its claws shot out from its hands. It started making high-pitched noises that hurt Dr. Na's ears. Green liquid began pouring out of glands on its neck. She knew this was stress chemicals that Verkari only released when they thought they were about to die. The Zelthian warrior, who had been sitting proudly just a second before, suddenly crouched down low like it was trying to hide. Its 4 arms wrapped around its head and it started rocking back and forth. Blue tears ran down its face. But the Mortak raider's reaction was the most shocking of all. These creatures were known throughout the galaxy as things that felt no fear. They attacked anything and everything without worry. Parents from 100 different species told scary stories about Mortak raiders to make their children behave. Yet now, this Mortak was pressed against the far wall of its room, as far away from Dr. Na as possible. Its whole body was shaking and the sharp teeth in its mouth were chattering together like it was freezing cold. Dr. Na stared at her computer screen. The numbers showing the aliens' heart rates, brain activity, and stress levels had all gone completely wild. These were not normal fear responses. These were the kind of readings she would expect if someone was about to be eaten alive. "Computer, play back the last word I said," she whispered. "Marines," the computer repeated in her voice. All 3 aliens reacted again, though not as strongly as before. The Verkari tried to dig its claws into the metal walls. The Zelthian warrior curled up in a ball. The Mortak raider made a sound like crying. Dr. Na's hands were shaking as she turned off the recording equipment. In all her years of studying alien behavior, she had never seen anything like this. These were the 3 most dangerous predator species in the known galaxy. They were afraid of nothing. They were the things that other creatures had nightmares about. So why were they all terrified of one simple word? She looked at her computer files and started searching through genetic data. What she found made her sit down hard in her chair. The fear response wasn't something these aliens had learned. It was built into their DNA. It was passed down from their parents and grandparents, like the color of their eyes or the shape of their claws. Something had happened in the past that was so terrible, so frightening, that it had actually changed how these species evolved. Their bodies now carried the memory of this fear in every cell. Dr. Na leaned back in her chair and looked at the 3 aliens who were slowly starting to calm down. She thought about all the stories she had heard about humans and their soldiers. Most aliens thought humans were weak and harmless. They were small, had no natural weapons, and came from a planet that most species considered too dangerous to live on. But there were rumors. Whispered stories about human soldiers who called themselves Marines. Stories that most aliens didn't believe because they seemed impossible. Dr. Na was starting to think those stories might be true after all. She stood up and walked closer to the glass rooms. "What did the humans do to you?" she asked quietly. The three aliens looked at her with eyes full of ancient terror, but they could not answer. Captain Jin Ho was sleeping in his small bed on the military ship when the loud alarm woke him up. Red lights flashed on and off in his room. He jumped out of bed and put on his green uniform as fast as he could. "Captain Jin Ho, please come to the control room right now," a voice said through the speakers. Jin Ho ran down the long hallways of the ship. Other soldiers called Marines were also running to their stations. Jin Ho had been a Marine captain for 8 years, but he had never heard the alarm sound so scared before. In the control room, Corporal Minda was staring at her computer screen. Her face was very pale and her hands were shaking a little. "What is happening?" Jin Ho asked. "Sir, we got a help signal from the colony ship New Sol. It stopped talking to us 3 hours ago," Minda said. "Our computers show that Verkari hunter ships are near it." Jin Ho felt his stomach get tight. Everyone in space knew about the Verkari. They were giant spider-like creatures who hunted other smart species for fun. They did not kill quickly. They liked to scare their victims first and watch them cry and beg. "How many human families are on New Sol?" Jin Ho asked. "About 5,000 people, sir. Most of them are children and old people moving to start a new life on planet Kim." Jin Ho looked at the star map on the big screen. The New Sol was very far from any military bases. His ship, called Defiance Fury, was the only help those people would get. "Tell all Marines to get ready for battle," he said. "We're going to save those people." 2 hours later, their ship came out of light speed near New Sol. What Jin Ho saw made him very angry. The big colony ship was floating in space with no power. Around it were 6 Verkari hunter ships, circling like sharks around a wounded fish. "Open a radio channel to all ships," Jin Ho said. "This is Captain Jin Ho of the Colonial Marines. Let the civilian ship go right now or we will make you." The answer came back as strange clicking and laughing sounds. It was Verkari laughter. They thought Jin Ho was being funny. One of the Verkari ships sent a message in broken human language. "Little soft creatures want to fight? We will eat you slowly like the others." Jin Ho turned to his crew. "They think we are just another prey species. They think we will run away or beg for our lives like other aliens do." Sergeant Wu Bin, Jin Ho's best soldier, smiled in a way that was not friendly at all. "Should we show them they are wrong, sir?" "Yes. Begin the hunt." What happened next was something the galaxy had never seen before. When most species met the Verkari, they either ran away or tried to hide. The Verkari were used to chasing scared victims across space. But humans did something different. They chased back. The battle around New Sol lasted only 2 hours, but it was just the beginning. When the Marines rescued the colony ship, they found that some Verkari hunters had escaped. Most species would have been happy to save the people and go home. The Marines followed the Verkari instead. For 6 long months, Captain Jin Ho and his Marines hunted the Verkari hunter pack across 12 different star systems. It was not a normal war. The Marines studied how the Verkari fought and then found ways to beat them at their own game. In the Kepler system, the Marines pretended to be weak traders until the Verkari ships got close. Then they attacked from hidden positions and destroyed 2 hunter ships before the Verkari knew what happened. In the Ross system, Sergeant Wu Bin and his team boarded a Verkari ship while they were sleeping. They did not kill the hunters right away. Instead, they left scary messages written in Verkari language on the walls. The messages said things like, "We are coming for you," and "Nowhere to hide." The Verkari started to feel something they had never felt before: fear. "Sir, the Verkari are changing how they fight," Corporal Minda reported after the 4th month. "They are not hunting other ships anymore. They are just running from us." Jin Ho nodded. "Good. Keep following them." The end came in a small star system with no name. The last Verkari hunter ship was hiding behind a dead planet. It had run out of fuel and food. When Jin Ho's Marines found it, there was only one Verkari left alive. Sergeant Wu Bin opened the door of the enemy ship. Inside, he found the Verkari hunter sitting in a corner, making quiet crying sounds. Its 6 eyes were wide with terror and its claws were broken from trying to dig through metal walls. When the Verkari saw Wu Bin, it started saying the same words over and over in broken human language. "The prey hunts back. The prey hunts back. Not supposed to hunt back." Wu Bin called Captain Jin Ho on his radio. "Sir, I think this one has gone crazy from fear." "Bring it back to the ship," Jin Ho said. We will send it home to tell the other Verkari what happens when they hurt human families. 3 weeks later, the crazy Verkari was found floating in space in an escape pod near the main Verkari homeworld. When other Verkari brought it inside, all it could do was repeat one word in its own language over and over: Marines. Word spread quickly through Verkari space. The humans were not like other prey species. The humans were something new and terrible. Something that hunted the hunters. From that day on, no Verkari ship ever attacked another human colony. War leader Kreshtal stood in the command room of his huge warship, looking at the battle plans spread out on the table. He was very tall with blue skin and 4 strong arms. His people, the Zelthians, had been fighting wars for over 1,000,000 years and had never lost a single battle. "Tell me about this planet again," he said to his aide. "It is called Kepler 442b, war leader. The humans have a small research base there with only 200 soldiers. Our spy ships counted them 3 times to be sure." Kreshtal made a clicking sound with his mouth that meant he was happy. "And how many warriors do we have?" 50,000 of our best fighters, war leader. This will be the easiest victory in our history." Kreshtal looked at the pictures of human soldiers on his computer. They were so small and weak-looking. They had no claws, no thick skin, no natural weapons at all. He could not understand why other species were starting to fear them. "What do these humans call their soldiers?" he asked. "They call them Marines, war leader." "Marines?" Kreshtal repeated the word slowly. "Such a strange name for such weak creatures. Begin the attack. I want this planet taken in 3 days." But Kreshtal was very wrong about how long it would take. When the Zelthian warships arrived at Kepler 442b, they expected the humans to either surrender or meet them in open battle like other species did. Instead, something strange happened. The moment the first Zelthian soldiers landed on the planet, all the humans disappeared. "Where did they go?" asked Commander Vextar, Kreshtal's best officer. "Our heat sensors show they went underground into the old mining tunnels under the mountains," reported a soldier. Kreshtal was confused but not worried. "Then we will go down and get them. Send 10,000 warriors into the tunnels." That was when the real war began. Deep under the ground, Sergeant Wu Bin was setting up explosive devices in Tunnel Section 7. He had 12 Marines with him, and they had been working for hours to turn the underground caves into a deadly trap. "How much time do we have?" asked Private Junyu, a young Marine who had only been a soldier for 6 months. "Not much," Wu Bin said quietly. "The Zelthians will be here soon. Remember what Captain Park taught us: we cannot fight them with strength, so we fight them with our brains." The tunnels under Kepler 442b were like a big underground city. They went in all directions and had many levels. The humans had been studying these tunnels for months before the Zelthians came. They knew every path, every hiding place, every weak spot in the rock walls. The Zelthians knew nothing about the tunnels at all. When the first group of Zelthian warriors entered the underground passages, they expected to find scared humans hiding in corners. Instead, they found empty tunnels that seemed to go on forever. The tunnels were dark and full of strange sounds. "This is too quiet," said one Zelthian warrior to his friend. Suddenly, the tunnel roof exploded above them. Rocks fell down and trapped half the warriors. Before they could understand what happened, human Marines appeared from hidden holes in the walls and attacked with small weapons and sharp knives. The fight lasted only 5 minutes. When it was over, the Marines disappeared back into the walls like ghosts. This happened over and over again for days, then weeks, then months. The Zelthians would send warriors into the tunnels. The Marines would attack from nowhere, hurt many Zelthians, and then vanish. When the Zelthians tried to follow them, they would run into traps, holes in the ground, fake walls that fell down, or rooms that filled with poison gas. "How are they doing this?" Kreshtal shouted at his officers after 2 months of fighting. "We have 50,000 warriors and they have only 200. We should have won in hours." Commander Vextar looked very tired and worried. "War leader, these humans fight in ways we have never seen before. Our war books have no answers for this kind of enemy." In the tunnels, Private Junyu was learning why the Marines were so feared. Sergeant Wu Bin had taught him to think like the enemy. "The Zelthians always attack the same way," Wu Bin explained while they planted new traps. "They are brave and strong, but they do the same things their fathers and grandfathers did. They cannot change. We can." The Marines did not just fight with guns and bombs. They used fear as a weapon. They would leave scary messages written on tunnel walls in the Zelthian language. They would play recordings of Zelthian death screams in empty tunnels to make the warriors think their friends were being killed nearby. Most frightening of all, the Marines seemed to be everywhere at once. A Zelthian warrior would think he was alone, then find human footprints in the mud behind him. Or he would hear human voices talking in the walls around him, but could never find where the voices were coming from. After 4 months, the Zelthian War College on their home planet sent their best military teachers to study what was happening. These teachers had written books about how to win every kind of war. They had no idea how to beat the Marines. "We need a new word to describe these humans," said the chief teacher after watching battle recordings. "They are not normal soldiers. They are something we have never fought before." The teachers created a new classification in their military books: Persistent Apex Hunters Threat Level, Maximum. Recommended Action, Complete Avoidance. After 6 months, war leader Kreshtal made the hardest decision of his life. He ordered all Zelthian warriors to leave Kepler 442b. For the first time in a million years, the Zelthians had lost a war. As his ships flew away from the planet, Kreshtal watched 200 human Marines come out of the tunnels. They had held off 50,000 of the galaxy's best warriors using nothing but cleverness and courage. The word Marines was burned into Zelthian memory forever that day. Fleet Commander Hraxtel looked out the big window of his warship at the stars. He was the leader of the biggest and most dangerous group of space pirates in the galaxy. His people, the Mortak, were things that gave other aliens nightmares. The Mortak looked like giant bugs with sharp teeth that never stopped growing. They had hard shells that could stop bullets and claws that could cut through steel doors. But the scariest thing about them was that they felt no fear at all. Nothing in the universe could scare a Mortak. "Tell me about our target," Hraxtel said to his second officer. "It is a small human research station on planet T9, Fleet Commander. Our spy drones counted only 12 human soldiers there." Hraxtel made a sound like laughing, but it was full of sharp teeth and spit. 12 humans against 100,000 Mortak raiders. This will be fun. He had heard the stories about what happened to the Verkari hunters and the Zelthian warriors. Other aliens whispered that human Marines were dangerous. Hraxtel thought this was very funny. Mortak raiders had been attacking and destroying things for thousands of years. They were not like other species who fought for territory or resources. Mortak fought because they enjoyed causing pain and fear. "Begin the attack," Hraxtel ordered. "I want to hear the humans scream before we eat them." 100 huge Mortak warships flew toward the small planet. Each ship carried 1,000 raiders armed with the most terrible weapons they could find. This should have been the easiest victory in Mortak history. On planet T9, Lieutenant Tae-Su was checking her equipment in the small marine base. She was very calm even though her computer screens showed 100,000 enemies coming toward them. "Everyone ready?" she asked her team of 11 other Marines. "Yes, ma'am," said Corporal Kim Bo, a young Marine who was good at sneaking into places without being seen. "Remember the plan," Tae-Su said. "We do not fight them on their terms. We fight them on ours." The Mortak fleet arrived at planet T9 expecting to find humans hiding in buildings or underground bunkers. Instead, they found the planet completely empty. All the humans had vanished without a trace. "Where are they?" Hraxtel demanded from his bridge. "Unknown, Fleet Commander. Heat sensors show no life signs anywhere on the planet." Hraxtel was confused but not worried. "Search every building. Find those humans." What Hraxtel did not know was that the Marines were not on the planet anymore. While the Mortak ships were still flying toward them, Lieutenant Tae-Su and her team had used small, quiet ships to sneak up to the Mortak fleet from behind. "Target acquired," whispered Corporal Kim Bo through his radio. He was floating in space in a special suit, attaching himself to the bottom of a Mortak warship. Beginning infiltration. The Marines did not attack the Mortak ships from the outside like normal enemies would. Instead, they got inside the ships and began working from within. Tae-Su crawled through the air vents of the command ship, moving as quietly as a mouse. Below her, she could hear Mortak raiders talking and laughing about what they would do to the humans when they found them. She placed small bombs in important parts of the ship, not to destroy it, but to disable its power and communications. Then she moved to the next ship. For 3 days, the Marines moved like ghosts through the Mortak fleet. They were inside the walls, inside the air systems, inside the computer networks. The Mortak raiders began to notice strange things. Lights would turn off and on for no reason. Computer screens would show scary messages written in human language. Raiders would hear footsteps in empty hallways, but when they went to look, no one was there. "Fleet Commander," said a worried officer on the second day. "Raider Group 7 has stopped answering our radio calls. Send someone to check on them," Hraxtel ordered. When other raiders boarded the ships from Group 7, they found something that made no sense. All the Mortak were sitting in corners, staring at the walls with wide, terrified eyes. They would not talk or move. They just sat there shaking with fear. "What happened here?" the rescue team asked. The scared raiders could only whisper the same words over and over. They are in the walls. They are in the walls. By the third day, 50 raider ships had gone silent. Hraxtel was starting to feel something he had never felt in his entire life: fear. How can 12 humans do this to us? He shouted at his officers. We are Mortak. We fear nothing. But his officers were scared too. They kept looking at the air vents and listening for sounds that should not be there. On the morning of the fourth day, Lieutenant Tae-Soo finished placing her last bomb. She and her team had been inside every major ship in the fleet, turning the raiders' own fear against them. The Mortak had always used terror as a weapon. Now they knew what it felt like to be terrified. All teams begin final phase, she whispered into her radio. What happened next broke the minds of the Mortak raiders. All at once, every ship in their fleet lost power. Emergency lights flashed red. Alarms screamed. And in the darkness, the raiders could hear human voices coming from inside the walls, speaking in calm, quiet tones. Nowhere to run, the voices said. Nowhere to hide. We are everywhere. When the rescue ships arrived a week later, they found 100,000 Mortak raiders sitting motionless in their dark ships. Most of them had gone completely crazy from fear. The few who could still speak kept repeating the same terrible truth. They are in the walls. They are always in the walls. The word Marines became a curse word in Mortak language after that day. Dr. Na Yun stood in the biggest meeting room she had ever seen. Around her sat hundreds of alien leaders from all over the galaxy. Some had fur, some had scales, some looked like giant insects. All of them were staring at her with great interest. This was the Galactic Council, where the most important decisions in space were made. Dr. Na had never spoken to so many powerful people before, but her discovery was too important to keep secret. Thank you for coming today, she said into the microphone. Her voice shook a little because she was nervous. I have found something that will change how we think about evolution and fear. She pressed a button and big screens around the room showed pictures of her research. The alien leaders leaned forward to get a better look. 3 weeks ago, I was doing normal tests on predator species. I said different words to see how they reacted. When I said the word, Marines, all 3 apex predators showed extreme terror responses. A tall alien with green skin raised his hand. Dr. Na, these are the most dangerous hunters in the galaxy. What could possibly scare them? Dr. Na touched another button. The screens now showed DNA patterns and genetic codes. That is what I wanted to find out. I studied their blood and genetics very carefully. What I found was amazing and frightening. She pointed to the colorful patterns on the screen. The fear response is not something these aliens learned from their parents or from stories. It is built into their DNA. It passes from parent to child automatically, like having brown eyes or being tall. The room became very quiet. Many of the alien leaders looked confused and worried. Council leader Vexran, an old alien with purple skin and wise eyes, spoke in a slow, careful voice. Dr. Na, are you saying that human Marines have changed how entire species evolve? Yes, Dr. Na said simply. In less than 30 generations, about 800 years, multiple apex predator species have developed genetic memory of fear. Their bodies now recognize the word Marines as a threat bigger than anything they have ever faced. She showed more pictures on the screen. These were brain scans of different alien species hearing various words. When they heard words like water or food, their brains stayed normal. When they heard Marines, their fear centers exploded with activity. But how is this possible? Asked a small furry alien from the back of the room. Evolution usually takes millions of years. Dr. Na had been hoping someone would ask this question. When a threat is so terrible that it kills or traumatizes most members of a species, evolution speeds up. The ones who survive pass on strong fear responses to their children. After many generations, the fear becomes part of their basic nature. She clicked to the next screen, which showed historical battle records. Human Marines did not just defeat these predator species. They broke their understanding of how the universe works. Predators are supposed to hunt prey. Prey is supposed to run or hide. But Marines turned prey into hunters. An old Vrikari in the visitor section made a soft chittering sound. Dr. Na looked at him and saw that his 6 eyes were wide with remembered terror. The Vrikari used to hunt other species for sport, Dr. Na continued. But when they met Marines, they became the ones being hunted. The Zelthians had never lost a war in a million years until Marines taught them what defeat felt like. The Mortak feared nothing in the universe until Marines got inside their ships and turned their own terror against them. Council leader Vexran leaned back in his big chair. What do you recommend we do with this information? Dr. Na had thought about this question for many days. I believe we need to reclassify human Marines. They should not be listed as soldiers or military units in our databases. They should be classified as a force of nature. What do you mean? Asked several aliens at the same time. Think about gravity, Dr. Na explained. We do not fight gravity. We work around it. We respect it. We avoid dangerous situations where gravity might hurt us. The same should be true for Marines. They are like a natural law of the universe now, something to understand and avoid, not something to fight. The meeting lasted for several hours. Many aliens asked questions and shared stories they had heard about Marines. By the end, everyone agreed that Dr. Na's discovery was one of the most important in galactic history. As the big meeting ended and aliens began to leave, Dr. Na noticed something happening near the exit. A young Verkari child was walking with his grandfather. The child seemed confused and kept looking around nervously. Grandfather, the young Verkari said in their clicking language, why do I feel so scared? We are safe here. The old Verkari put a gentle claw on his grandchild's shoulder. His voice was soft but full of ancient knowledge that came from deep in his genes. You feel scared because earlier today someone said a word that is dangerous to our people. A word that means death and defeat and things that should not exist in nature. What word, grandfather? The old Verkari looked around carefully to make sure no humans were listening. Then he whispered, Marines? Some prey species forgot they were supposed to be prey, young one. And when that happens, the whole galaxy changes. Dr. Na smiled as she packed up her research papers. She had solved one of the biggest mysteries in xenopsychology. She had also proven that sometimes, the scariest monsters in the universe were the ones who used to be afraid. The word Marines would echo through alien nightmares for generations to come.